Hi, I'm Ryan Szymanski, curator for Battleship New Jersey Museum and Memorial, and today I'm joined with my friend Dave Rakovic, who is the president and founder of the Stockton Maritime Museum. You guys have USS Lucid, a historic vessel that you are preserving and restoring to open for visitation in Stockton. Tell us a little bit about Lucid's condition when you got the ship over a decade ago.
Yeah, being a non-magnetic ship, all the metal on it was bronze, brass, aluminum, or stainless steel, and we got it from a scrapper. So you can imagine there wasn't much left. Other than the wooden hull and the superstructure, all the gear had been removed from it.
Now you started out trying to get a ship directly from the Navy.
Yes, but the Navy decided after a few of these sank or burned that they weren't going to dispose of any more wooden ships. They were going to scrap them all. So this is the only one, ours is the only one surviving in the United States.
So you were able to find it. It had been sold to private owners long before that Navy
Correct.
requirement came into place.
Yes.
So by the time you get her, she's a historic vessel, but very much an empty hulk.
Yeah, exactly. A stripped hulk is basically what it was.
So when was that you got possession?
We acquired 2000. We formed the museum in 2011 and acquired the ship in 2012.
And in that time, you've done a tremendous amount of restoration work on board, but you kept coming up on like these rare minesweeping equipment.
Yeah.
Put on these ships in the 1950s. It just doesn't exist in the United States anymore.
And we've traveled all over the country. We've traveled from the East Coast to New Orleans, New Jersey. Oh boy, we've been everywhere. Utah, and we go across the country to get a few spare parts until we found out about this. This will be the biggest strip trip bonanza we've ever scored.
Yeah, so you guys know that we are filming this from Kaohsiung, Taiwan, the Republic of China. This is the biggest naval port in Taiwan, where one of their main Navy bases is. And they were operating an MSO Minesweeper, USS Implicit, or the former USS Implicit, until earlier this year.
Yeah, they decommissioned on July 1st of this year.
So you flew out last year and you got to see the ship in active service, fully furnished.
Which was cool. I mean, here we've been restoring a hulk of a ship, and I never thought I'd get to see one. And then to come on one and meet the captain, the crew, and the old chief comes out of the engine room all sweaty and dirty. And I told the captain, who didn't speak English, I bet I know who that is. And he said, "How did you know?" I said, "That's the chief." Because you can imagine what it's like in the engine room of a 70-year-old ship. But anyhow, it was so cool to see an operational ship. And like I say, they just retired in July of this year. And nothing had been changed on it other than the engines. The original Packard engines were changed when it was in our Navy service, and they put in Waukesha's. But all the minesweeping gear is original 1954, 1955 gear.
So that was going to be my next question. As we're going around the ship, you're seeing things like the helm, console, the bridge, like all of that. That is the original as-built stuff, not newer. It's not a newer radar or a new radio.
Never updated. It was state-of-the-art in 1950s, and I guess it was until recently. But I've only seen that gear in pictures before.
And it is exactly the gear you need, and this is the last place on the planet where you could get it.
Exactly. Yeah.
So tell us about setting up the trip to come out here.
Well, we started researching this about 3 years ago through some of our elderly volunteers who are no longer with us anymore. I hope they're watching us from above to see what we've accomplished. But
so they looked at the more than 100 MSOs that were built and tracked down which ones were left.
We knew that 3 were sold to Taiwan. All the ones that we sold to the European countries, we had records of them being scrapped. We didn't have records of these being scrapped, so we dug a little more and we saw that last year 2 of them were scrapped and there was 1 left. And we started writing to the Taiwanese Navy through our quasi-embassy in San Francisco. And after a year's effort, we found someone that would answer our questions and concerns. And we struck up a relationship, and it grew from there.
And they can't give this straight back to you, so you had to work with somebody in the United States Navy to make this happen.
They acquired the ship through our foreign military sales program. And through that sales program, they're limited to what they can do with the gear when they're done with it. They could scrap it. They can't sell it. So they're giving it back to the United States Navy through the Naval History and Heritage Command, who are then going to make it on a permanent loan to our museum.
Yeah, and Battleship New Jersey has something like 80 objects on loan from NHHC. Everything from our phalanx Gatling guns to the ship's bell is NHHC objects. So as museum ship operators, we work with them all the time. They're hugely supportive of us. But this is going above and beyond.
Yeah, I'm sure Admiral Cox is getting tired of seeing my name pop up in his inbox. But it's taken a lot of work. We came out in December, but the last year it's been, a lot of communication to get all these moving pieces. Our freight forwarder told me the other day, he says, "You've got a tiger by the tail," and boy, we really do. Working with the shipping company, customs, all that, and the Navy and the scrappery, the civilians who are going to be scrapping it. There's a lot of organization there to work through.
So tell us about some of the big things that we've managed to pull off of the ship that you just weren't going to find elsewhere.
Man, the original sonar consoles, both the search and the classify sonar consoles, the lee helm, which controls a variable pitch propeller that only these ships had, were only made for these ships. There's not another one available anywhere in the world. Minesweeping gear, what they call the thumper and the bumper, the acoustic device and the noisemaker. And the reel with a mile of electrical cable that powers that acoustic device when they're going through a minefield. That's just to start to scratch the surface. And then the anchors and the anchor chains, which are made out of Manel. And Manel, for those of you that don't know, it's a very strong non-magnetic metal. It's 50% bronze and 50% nickel. So you can imagine why the scrappers were after these ships.
Yeah, it's a tough metal to work with too.
But very valuable to a scrapper. I've heard it's worth $3-4 a pound of scrap. I don't know, but hell of a lot more than scrap steel, obviously.
So when we heard that you guys were doing this trip, because international open houses like this just don't happen. I can't think of the last time a museum ship did this. We knew we had to be a part of it. Tell us about the rest of the team that you guys brought.
We have a team that came from Stockton. We have let's see, how many came from Stockton? We have 8 of our volunteers that came from Stockton. We had 2 volunteers, retired Captain Art Wright and his daughter Amy, who lived here in Taiwan for a number of years, who acted as our interpreter. She speaks fluent Chinese. And we have 2 of our volunteers that come out every year to work on a ship from Ohio, a father and son that came out and joined us on this trip. So broad base of representative of our volunteer corps. And
you are an all-volunteer organization. Everybody is here for free, including myself. I'm not being paid to be here.
Exactly. So. We're buying a lot of beer in the afternoon on my business card, not on a museum's business card. But keeping everyone happy, and everyone is so jacked to be here. I'm surprised. What a wonderful team of volunteers. And for you and Libby to come out and do this, I mean, we could not pay enough to hire somebody to do this.
I can't even call this a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, because it shouldn't happen in a lifetime. It's even rarer than once in a lifetime.
Well, with the ships that they have here, Ryan, they're still operating a World War II submarine. It's got to be the last one in the world. They're operating an LST that was built in 1944. There may be opportunities for you to bring some of these vessels home someday, if I could twist your arm.
It's definitely the hope that now that you've figured out how to do this, that in the future we're able to work more of these. Okay. So tell me a little bit more about how you set this up.
Well, we don't have embassies with Taiwan, which is kind of strange. They're a major ally of ours, but due to political reasons. But we have in San Francisco a Taiwan Economic and Cultural Office, which acts as our embassy. And through one of their officers there, they were able to contact someone here in the Taiwanese Navy that took an interest in us recording this history of these old ships that they've been operating. And I made them aware that they were operating the last one in the world. They thought that was kind of cool. They weren't aware of that.
No kidding.
And I told them we were saving the last one in the United States. So we found someone that was interested in helping us, and they went up the ladder, and they've been nothing but helpful.
Yeah, I can't say enough that the number of times we've been like, oh man, we forgot to bring this tool, or we couldn't have possibly brought this tool, and they've, like, one of the guys has run over to a building, grabbed something, come back and had exactly what we needed.
They could not have been more helpful. Starting from the Chief of Naval Operations down to the sailors that were helping us today, enlisted men, 18, 19, 20-year-old men helping us remove gear from the ship. A real pleasure to work with.
So this is a massively expensive trip, a massively expensive project for the museum, but that cost is not, we're all volunteers, so it's not us being that cost. Where's that cost coming from?
Primarily from air freight. We flew 10 volunteers out here, Coach, I want you to know. My back can prove it. But yeah, we've got 10 volunteers out here up in hotels. But the biggest single portion of this will be the freight back. We're going to fill 2 40-foot containers, ship them back to Oakland.
Yeah, some of the parts we've got are absolutely massive, multi-ton things that are barely going to fit in those containers.
These containers have 25-ton capacity, and we'll reach out on each container.
So that's a lot of out-of-pocket expense for the museum. That's going to be massive getting all that stuff home. How can people support us?
Well, to show you how massive it is, this trip, these 2 weeks that we're putting into this and the freight and all that, this will equal 1 year of our annual operating budget. And we receive no federal, state, or local government money. All our workers are volunteers, no paid employees. What we're doing is we've made a plea on our Facebook page for people to help us, and people have stepped up in a very meaningful way to help us with this trip. We're obviously looking for more but this is the last chance. I mean, I told our board, I gave them a budget number, and we're probably going to go over it. I'll answer to the board for that. But I've told them once this is gone, there'll never be any of this gear left anywhere in the world.
So it took us 2 weeks to get all these pieces off. How long do you think it's going to take your current volunteer pool to get it all installed on Lucid?
Oh, this will be a multi-year project. Our students at the Building Futures Academy will be rebuilding some of this gear, some of it just refinishing it. But hell, it'll take us years to get all this gear refurbished and up on deck. There's so much of it. But like I say, we needed it, so now's the time to get it.
Exactly. It was never going to be available again. Exactly. So could you take more volunteers to help put that stuff in?
Absolutely. If you're a gearhead or into electronics or radios or anything like that.
Even if you're just good at swinging a paintbrush.
Yeah, or a chip and hammer, although we don't use chip and hammer on bronze. But yeah, paint remover, sandblasting, sanding, priming, polishing. Yeah, we're going to have a lot of volunteer opportunities coming up by the result of this gear.
The ship isn't fully open to the public yet because you don't have a complete ship until all these parts get installed. So if folks want to get that close-up experience with USS Lucid, volunteering is the best way to do it, isn't it?
Absolutely. They can go to our website or to our Facebook page or YouTube channel and learn how to volunteer. We do work parties on the 2nd and 4th Saturday of each month, and we have some volunteers that live in the neighborhood that are there every day of the week during the work week. So plenty of opportunities to get involved if you're interested.
So be sure you check the link in the description below. How many of you guys watching this are former Minesweeper sailors? Let us know in the comments section down below which one you served on. Battleship New Jersey receives operating support from the New Jersey Department of State, as well as from a number of other businesses and private individuals like yourselves. We really appreciate your support, but consider supporting USS Lucid and the massive restoration project that they have grabbed by the horns and are really tackling in a big way right now. There's a link in the description below to support them. You can support Battleship New Jersey by liking, sharing, and subscribing so more people find out about our museum and the channel. Thanks for watching.